All right, let's dive in. We're going to crack open an ancient legal detective story, a mystery that's over 2,000 years old, and it's all hidden inside a single sentence. So the entire case kicks off with this one line from the Mishna, which is a core text of Jewish law. It says, "Everyone slaughters, and their slaughter is valid." Now, that sounds simple enough, right? But if you've got a legal mind, this sentence is a total puzzle. Everyone slaughters. That sounds like a green light, an ideal situation. But then it says, their slaughter is valid. That sounds like someone's checking the work after it's done, which kind of suggests it wasn't the ideal way to do it in the first place. So, which is it? Here's the basic setup. With just a couple of exceptions, pretty much anyone can perform a valid ritual slaughter. But the heart of our puzzle is the status of that permission. Is it the absolute best practice, the gold standard, or is it just acceptable? To solve this, we first need to get a handle on two really important legal ideas. First up, you've got this concept called l'katchila. That basically means from the start. This is the ideal, it's the way you're supposed to do something, it's fully permitted, it's encouraged. Think of it as the textbook by-the-book procedure. And on the flip side, you have diavd, which means after the fact. This is when an action is legally valid. It still counts, but it wasn't done the ideal way. It's not forbidden or anything, but it's not what you were supposed to do. It's kind of the, well, it's done now, and I guess it works, so we'll accept it category. And that brings us right back to our big question. When the Mishna says everyone slaughters, is that a from the start green light, or is it an after the fact nod of acceptance? The answer here is going to shape how we understand this whole practice. This is the case we have to crack. Okay, so let's meet our detectives. Our investigation is being led by two brilliant Talmudic scholars, Rav Ashi and Rav Ashi. And their number one clue, the piece of evidence they're going to zero in on, is that very first word of the law, everyone. Rav Ashi steps up to the plate first with a really simple but powerful theory. He argues that the word everyone is so broad, so all-encompassing, that it must mean it's an ideal permission. It suggests that from the get-go, anyone is welcome to do this. Seems pretty clean, pretty logical, but it's not quite that simple. Because now in walks Rav Ashi. And he's playing the skeptic here. He is not convinced that everyone is such an open and shut case. In fact, he thinks he's got evidence that proves the word can mean something totally different. So Rav Ashi presents his first exhibit. He points to another law that also starts with everyone substitutes. Now, this is talking about illegally swapping a regular animal for a sacred one. The Torah explicitly forbids this. You literally get punished with 40 lashes for doing it. So his point is, how can everyone possibly mean ideally permitted when it's being used here for something that's flat out prohibited? That's a huge blow to Rav Ashi's theory. But Rav Ashi is quick on his feet. He fires back, saying, hold on. The law you're talking about, the one about substitution, it immediately clarifies itself. It basically has a disclaimer built right in that says, hey, if you do this forbidden thing, here's what happens. Our law about slaughter, he says, has no disclaimer like that. They're just not the same thing. Rav Ashi isn't done yet, though. He brings up a second, maybe even trickier challenge. He quotes a law saying everyone takes vows. But then he points out that scripture itself says it's actually better not to vow. The famous Rabbi Meir even taught that it's best not to vow at all. So here we go again. The word everyone is being used for something that's legally valid, sure, but it's actively discouraged. It's a textbook after-the-fact scenario. So the pressure is right back on Rav Ashi. His key piece of evidence, this word everyone, is starting to look ambiguous, to say the least. He's got to prove that his original idea can still work. And Rav Ashi comes back swinging. He starts rattling off his own examples. He brings up laws that say things like, everyone is obligated in the mitzvah of sukkah, or everyone is obligated to wear ritual fringes. In these cases, the action isn't just permitted, it's a requirement. It is, by definition, the ideal from the start thing to do. It's a brilliant way to show that, yes, everyone can and often does mean exactly what he thought it did. Faced with all this evidence, Rav Ashi has to give him the point. He basically concedes, okay, you're right, the clue is inconclusive. Sometimes everyone introduces an ideal from the start law, and sometimes it introduces a less than ideal after the fact one. It feels like they've hit a dead end. So what now? If your main clue can point in two completely opposite directions, is it worthless? Has this whole investigation just hit a brick wall? Is there no way to solve the puzzle? And this is the moment of the breakthrough. This is where Rav Ashi realizes they've been looking at it all wrong. The answer isn't just in the word everyone by itself. It's about how that word works with the rest of the sentence. He pulls everyone back to the original text. He says, let's just look at it again, the whole thing. Everyone slaughters, and their slaughter is valid. See? The two parts are right there, side by side. The solution isn't about choosing one over the other. It's about seeing how they work together. And to do that, you need one more piece of the puzzle. And that final piece is a fundamental rule of rabbinic legal thinking, the principle of no redundancy. You have to understand, these texts are incredibly precise and efficient. Every single word is there for a reason. They just don't waste space saying the same thing twice. And that is the key that is going to unlock this entire thing. So here is Rav Ashi's final, airtight logic. It's just beautiful. Step 1. That second phrase, their slaughter is valid, everyone agrees that's an after-the-fact statement, right? It's just confirming the outcome. Okay. Step 2. Let's imagine for a second that the first phrase, everyone slaughters, also means after the fact. Well, step 3, if that were true, the law would be pointlessly redundant. It'd be like saying, the result is valid, and by the way, the result is valid. It makes no sense. Which leads us to the only possible conclusion, step 4. For that first phrase to mean anything at all, it has to mean something different. It must mean from the start.
And there you have it, the aha moment. It was never a contradiction. The two phrases weren't fighting each other at all. The first part sets up the ideal. From the start, everyone is permitted to slaughter. And the second part clarifies the legal consequence. And if they do, don't worry, their slaughter is valid. It wasn't a contradiction, it was a complete two-part statement. Case closed.
This whole detective story really leaves us with a pretty cool thought. It shows just how sophisticated these ancient legal systems were. They create meaning not just from the dictionary definition of words, but from their placement, their relationship to each other, and this core assumption that every single word has a unique job to do. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the deepest truths aren't just in what a text says, but in how it's actually built.